Ultralight aviation is the flying of lightweight, one- or two-seat fixed-wing aircraft. Some countries differentiate between weight shift control and conventional three-axis control aircraft with ailerons, elevator and rudder, calling the former microlight, and the latter ultralight. During the late 1970s and early 1980s, mostly stimulated by the hang gliding movement, many people sought affordable powered flight. As a result, many aviation authorities set up definitions of lightweight, slow-flying aeroplanes that could be subject to minimum regulations. The resulting aeroplanes are commonly called ultralight aircraft, or microlights, although the weight and speed limits differ from country to country. In Europe, the sporting definition limits the maximum takeoff weight to 450 kg if a ballistic parachute is installed, and a maximum stalling speed of 65 km per hour. The definition means that the aircraft has a slow landing speed and short landing roll in the event of an engine failure. In most affluent countries, microlights or ultralight aircraft now account for a significant percentage of the global civilian-owned aircraft. For instance, in Canada in October 2010, the ultralight aircraft fleet made up to 19% of the total civilian aircraft registered. In other countries that do not register ultralight aircraft, like the United States, it is unknown what proportion of the total fleet they make up. In countries where there is no specific extra regulation, ultralights are considered regular aircraft and subject to certification requirements for both aircraft and pilot. Definitions. Australia equals. In Australia, recreational aircraft fall under many categories, but the most common category imposes a maximum takeoff weight of 600 kg or less for a seaplane. A stalling speed under 45 knots in landing configuration. A maximum of 2 seats. A new certification category for light sport aircraft came into effect on January 7, 2006. This category does not replace the previous categories, but creates a new category with the following characteristics: a maximum takeoff weight of 600 kg or 650 kg for an aircraft intended and configured for operation on water, or 560 kg for a lighter-than-air aircraft. A maximum stalling speed in the landing configuration of 45 kN/cas. Maximum of 2 occupants, including the pilot. A fixed landing gear. A glider may have retractable landing gear. A single, non-turbine engine fitted with a propeller. A non-pressurized cabin. If the aircraft is a glider, a maximum never exceeds speed of 135 kN/cas. In either of the above categories, there are distinctions between factory manufactured aircraft and kits for amateur building, as the former have to undergo more rigorous tests of airworthiness. In Australia, ultralight aircraft are defined as one- or two-seat weight shift aircraft, with a maximum takeoff weight of 450 kg, as set out by the Civil Aviation Safety Authority. In Australia, ultralights are also referred to as trikes and are distinguished from three-axis aircraft, of which the smallest are known as ultralights. In Australia, ultralight aircraft and their pilots can either be registered with the Hang Gliding Federation of Australia or Recreational Aviation Australia. In all cases, except for privately built single-seat ultralight aeroplanes, microlight aircraft or trikes are regulated by the Civil Aviation Regulations. Brazil equals. The Brazilian aviation regulation defines an ultralight plane as a very light manned experimental aircraft used mainly, or intended for, sports or recreation, during daylight, in visual conditions, with a maximum capacity of 2 people and with the following characteristics: single internal combustion engine and 1 propeller. Maximum takeoff weight equal or less than 750 kg. And, calibrated stall speed, power off, in landing configuration equal or less than 45 kN. Canada equals. The Canadian aviation regulations define 2 types of ultralight aeroplanes: basic ultralight aeroplanes, and advanced ultralight aeroplanes. The U.S. light sport aircraft is similar to, and was based upon, the Canadian AULA. AULAs may operate at a controlled airport without prior arrangement. Operating either class of ultralight in Canada requires an ultralight pilot permit, which requires both ground school, dual and solo supervised flights. The ultralight may be operated from land or water, but may only carry a passenger if the pilot has an ultralight aeroplane passenger carrying rating and the aircraft is an AULA. Europe equals, the definition of an ultralight according to the Annex 2 of the EU Regulation 216/2008 based on the Regulation 1592/2002 and this on Joint Aviation Authorities JAR 1 is, aeroplanes, helicopters and powered parachutes having no more than 2 seats, a maximum takeoff mass, as recorded by the member states, of no more than, 300 kilograms for a land plane helicopter, single-seater, or, 450 kilograms for a land plane helicopter, two-seater, or, 330 kilograms for an amphibian or float plane helicopter single-seater, or, 495 kilograms for an amphibian or float plane helicopter two-seater, provided that, where operating both as a float plane helicopter and as a land plane/helicopter, it falls below both MTOM limits, as appropriate. 472, 5 kilograms for a land plane, two-seater equipped with an airframe-mounted total recovery parachute system. 315 kilograms for a land plane single-seater equipped with an airframe-mounted total recovery parachute system. And, for aeroplanes, having the stall speed or the minimum steady flight speed in landing configuration not exceeding 35 knots calibrated airspeed. Single and two-seater gyroplanes with a maximum takeoff mass not exceeding 560 kilograms. Italy. In Italy, the category for this class of aircraft is Ultralight. Requires flying with a helmet. Maximum weight requirements exclude seat belts, parachute and instruments. Single-seat maximum weight of 300 kilograms, and 330 kilograms for amphibious. Stall speed must not exceed 65 km per hour. Two-seat maximum weight of 450 kilograms, and 500 kilograms for amphibious. Stall speed must not exceed 65 km per hour. Aircraft may be used for instruction or flown by pilots with a valid private license, and at least 30 hours flight time. Intended for use at private fields. Use at civil airports requires prior permission. Airspace restrictions must remain within the territory of the state from the border of another state was abolished by the law April 24, 1998, N. 128 Disposizioni per l'adempimento di obblighi derivanti dall'ordinanza dell'Italia alle Comunità Europee Comunitary Law 1995-97 Out 22,20, published on the Gazzetta Ufficiale N88 per liter of May 7, 1998. It is forbidden to fly over cities. All aircraft must have a metal plate with the identification number issued by the AECI. The same number must be fixed onto the underneath of the wing with letters that measure a minimum of 30 15 centimeters, in contrasting color. From 30 minutes before dawn till 30 minutes after sunset, flight must be below 500 feet. On Saturday and holidays flight must be below 1,000 feet with 5 km separation from airports not located within ATZ. Ultralight operation requires a certificate exam, insurance and a medical examination. United Kingdom. The current UK regulations describe a microlight aeroplane as limited to 2 people, with a maximum total weight authorised not exceeding 300 kg for a single-seat land plane. 390 kg for a single-seat land plane for which a UK permit to fly or certificate of airworthiness was in force prior to January 1, 2003, 450 kg for a two-seat land plane, 330 kg for a single-seat amphibian or float plane, 495 kg for a two-seat amphibian or float plane. A microlight must also have a stalling speed at the maximum weight authorized not exceeding 35 km calibrated speed. Earlier UK legal microlight definitions described an aeroplane with a maximum weight authorized of 390 kg, with a wing loading at the maximum weight authorized not exceeding 25 kg per square meter. No airspeed limitations were defined. All UK registered aeroplanes falling within these parameters are microlight aircraft. Other than the very earliest aircraft, all two-seat UK microlights have been required to meet airworthiness standard BCAR Section S. In 2007 a subcategory of aircraft was introduced which allows owners more freedom for modification and experiments. Single-seat deregulated aircraft were to weigh less than 115 kg without fuel and pilot with a wing loading not more than 10 kg per square meter. Other single-seat microlights remained regulated. In 2015 the SSDR rules changed. The definition of a single-seat microlight was adjusted to effectively deregulate all single-seat microlights for airworthiness purposes. In addition, it became possible for some two-seat aircraft to be reclassified as SSDR single-seat microlights. There is no airworthiness requirement or annual inspection regime for SSDR microlights, although pilots who fly them must have a normal microlight license, and must observe the rules of the air. Other than foot-launched aircraft, a license is required to fly a microlight in the UK. In the UK the microlight license is currently called NPPL. It can be upgraded to an LAPL license with few hours training in Cat A aircraft. India In India an ultralight is an aircraft that has the following characteristics: two-seater aircraft having an all-up weight of not more than 450 kg without parachute and 472 kg with parachute, a stall speed of less than 80 km per hour, a maximum level speed of less than 220 km per hour, one or two seats, a single engine, reciprocating, rotary or diesel, a fixed or ground adjustable propeller, unpressurized cabin, wing area more than 10 square meters, a fixed landing gear, except for operation on water. Or as a glider. Indian ultralights require aircraft registration, periodic condition inspections and a current permit to fly which has to be renewed annually. New Zealand In New Zealand ultralight aircraft are separated into two classes, basically single and two-seat aircraft. All ultralights are required to have a prescribed endurance testing period when they are first flown, and all ultralights must have a minimum set of instrumentation to show airspeed, altitude and magnetic heading. NZ Class 1, single-place aircraft with a maximum gross weight of 510 kg or 550 kg, and a stall speed in the landing configuration at maximum gross weight of 45 knots or less. Requires aircraft registration, and annual condition inspections, but does not require a permit to fly. NZ Class 2, two-place aircraft with a maximum gross weight of 600 kg or 650 kg, and a stall speed at maximum gross weight of 45 knots or less in the landing configuration. Must meet minimum type acceptance standards which may be foreign standards which have been deemed acceptable, or via a temporary permit to fly and flight testing regime. Requires aircraft registration, annual condition inspections, and a current permit to fly. Ultralights are subject to NZCAA General Aviation Regulations with microlight-specific variations as described in Part 103 and AC 103. Philippines The Civil Aviation Regulations define non-type certified aircraft, under which ultralights and microlights fall, as an aircraft that does not possess an aircraft type certificate issued by any country state. It is of simple design and construction, either a home-built or a kit-built variety, and for recreational and sport use, DVFR condition only. A class of non-type certificated aircraft is applicable to all classifications, including powered parachutes, gyrocopter, fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters. United States The United States FAA's definition of an ultralight is significantly different from that in most other countries and can lead to some confusion when discussing the topic. The governing regulation in the United States is FAA 103 Ultralight Vehicles, which specifies a powered ultralight as a single-seat vehicle of less than 5 U.S. gallons fuel capacity, empty weight of less than 254 pounds, a top speed of 55 knots, and a maximum stall speed not exceeding 24 knots. Restrictions include flying only during daylight hours and over unpopulated areas. Unpowered ultralights are limited to a weight of 155 pounds with extra weight allowed for amphibious landing gear and ballistic parachute systems. In 2004 the FAA introduced the light sport aircraft category, which resembles some other countries' microlight categories. In the United States, no license or training is required by law for ultralights, but training is highly advisable. For light sport aircraft, a sport pilot certificate is required. Ultralight aviation is represented by the United States Ultralight Association, which acts as the U.S. Aero Club representative to the FAR Copyright DAO Copyright Ration or Copyright Ronautique International. Types of aircraft. While ultralight type planes date back to the early 1900s, there have been 3 generations of modern, fixed-wing ultralight aircraft designs, which are generally classed by the type of structure. The first generation of modern ultralights were actually hang gliders with small engines added to them, to create powered hang gliders. The wings on these were flexible, braced by wires, and steered by shifting the pilot's weight under the wing. The second generation ultralights began to arrive in the mid-1970s. These were designed as powered aircraft, but still used wire bracing and usually single-surface wings. Most of these have 2-axis control systems, operated by stick or yoke, which control the elevators and the rudder. There are no ailerons, so may be no direct control of banking. A few 2-axis designs use spoilers on the top of the wings, and pedals for rudder control. Examples of 2-axis ultralights are the Pterodactyl, and the Quicksilver MX. The third-generation ultralights, arriving in the early 1980s, have strut-braced wings and airframe structure. Nearly all use 3-axis control systems, as used on standard airplanes, and these are the most popular. Third-generation designs include the CGS Hawk, Kolb Ultrastar and Quad City Challenger. There are several types of aircraft which qualify as ultralights, but which do not have fixed-wing designs. These include weight shift control trike. While the first-generation ultralights were also controlled by weight shift, most of the current weight shift ultralights use a hang glider-style wing, below which is suspended a 3-wheeled carriage which carries the engine and aviators. These aircraft are controlled by pushing against a horizontal control bar in roughly the same way as a hang glider pilot flies. Trikes generally have impressive climb rates and are ideal for rough field operation, but are slower than other types of fixed-wing ultralights. Powered parachutes, cart-mounted engines with parafoil wings, which are wheeled aircraft. Powered paragliding, backpack engines with parafoil wings, which are foot-launched. Powered hang glider, motorized foot-launched hang glider harness. Autogyro, rotary wing with cart-mounted engine. A gyrocopter is different from a helicopter in that the rotating wing is not powered. The engine provides forward thrust and the airflow through the rotary blades causes them to rotate or spin up to create lift. Most of these use a design based on the Benson B-8 gyrocopter. Helicopter. There are a number of single-seat and two-place helicopters which fall under the microlight categories in countries such as New Zealand. However, few helicopter designs fall within the more restrictive ultralight category defined in the United States of America. 2 examples that do are the Mosquito Air and XEL designs from Innovator Technologies, Incorporated. Hot air balloon. There are numerous ultralight hot air balloons in the U.S., and several more have been built and flown in France and Australia in recent years. Some ultralight hot air balloons are hopper balloons, while others are regular hot air balloons that carry passengers in a basket. Electric-powered ultralights. Research has been conducted in recent years to replace gasoline engines in ultralights with electric motors powered by batteries to produce electric aircraft. This has now resulted in practical production electric power systems for some ultralight applications. These developments have been motivated by cost as well as environmental concerns. In many ways, ultralights are a good application for electric power as some models are capable of flying with low power, which allows longer duration flights on battery power. In 2007, Electric Aircraft Corporation began offering engine kits to convert ultra-lightweight shift trikes to electric power. The 18-horsepower motor weighs 26 pounds and an efficiency of 90% is claimed by designer Randall Fishman. The battery consists of a lithium polymer battery pack of 5.6 kilowatt-hours which provides 1.5 hours of flying in the trike application. The power system for a trike costs USD $8,285 to $11,285. The company claims a flight recharge cost of 60 cents. A significant obstacle to the adoption of electric propulsion for ultralights in the U.S. is the weight of the battery, which is considered part of the empty weight of the aircraft despite efforts to have it considered as fuel. As battery energy density improves, this will be less of a problem. By mid-2015, progress is being made to construct an electric air vehicle that complies with Part 103 requirements. Notable microlight-ultralight manufacturers. See also, Aerosport, Backpack Helicopter, Jetpack, Nanolight, Experimental Aircraft Association, Recreational Aviation Australia, United States Ultralight Association, United States Powered Paragliding Association, Volksflux UK. References. External links, ultralight regulations in various countries, type acceptance information for New Zealand microlights.